Welcome to my channel. My name is Shinko. We're reading and discussing The Warriors Into the Wild by Erin Hunter. We're still on chapter 9, and we just left you guys off with a few notes of Yellowfang's reaction to the kits. Firepaw's reaction and his sudden burst of energy with Spiderleaf. Something I also want you to think about, Ravenpaw. Seems fearful, doesn't he? Like I said in the last video, the series has a lot of foreshadowing. So, whatever is written, there's generally intent behind it. There's definitely a reason why this random blurb or bib was added in. If the detail that's randomly in there seems inconsequential to you and you don't really understand it, chances are it's a little bit of foreshadowing. Okay. Firepaw could tell that the cats back at camp were impressed with the amount of prey that the 3 apprentices had managed to catch during their afternoon hunt. They were welcomed back with high tails, friendly nuzzles, and it took them 4 journeys to carry their bumper catch to the storage hold the elders had dug. Lionheart and Tigerclaw had just returned with their patrol as Firepaw, Greypaw, and Ravenpaw carried their last load into the camp. "Well done, you 3, meowed Lionheart. "I hear you've been busy. The store is almost full. You might as well add that loss to the pile, and add that last lot to the pile of fresh kill for tonight, and take some of it back with you to your den. You deserve a feast." The 3 apprentices flicked their tails with delight. "I hope you've not been neglecting Yellowfang with all of this hunting, Firepaw," Tigerclaw growled warningly. Firepaw shook his head impatiently, eager to get away. He was starving. He had obeyed the warrior code this time, and not eaten a morsel while he was hunting for the clan, nor had Greypaw or Ravenpaw. They trotted away and dropped the last of their catch onto the fresh kill that already lay at the center of the clearing. Then each of them took a piece and carried it back to the tree stump. The den was empty. "Where are Dustpaw and Sandpaw?" asked Ravenpaw. "They must be out on patrol," Firepaw guessed. "Good," meowed Greypaw. "Peace and quiet." They all ate their fill and lay back to wash. The cool evening air was welcome after the heat of the day. "Hey, guess what?" meowed Greypaw suddenly. "Ravenpaw managed to squeeze a compliment out of old Tigerclaw this morning." "Really?" Firepaw gasped. "What on earth did you do to please Tigerclaw? Fly?" "Well," Ravenpaw began shyly, looking at his paws, "I caught a crow." "How'd you manage that?" Firepaw mewed, impressed. "It was an old one," Ravenpaw admitted modestly. "But it was huge," added Greypaw. "Even Tigerclaw couldn't find fault with that. He's been in such a bad mood since Bluestar took you on as her apprentice." He licked his paw thoughtfully for a moment. "Oh, hang on. Make that since Lionheart was made deputy." "He's just worried about Shadow Clan and the extra patrols," meowed Ravenpaw hastily. "You should try not to annoy him." Their conversation was interrupted by a loud yell from the other side of the clearing. "No!" Firepaw groaned, getting to his paws. "I forgot to take Yellowfang her share." "You wait here," meowed Greypaw, leaping up. "I'll take her something." "No, I better go," Firepaw protested. "This is my punishment, not yours." "No one will notice," argued Greypaw. "They're out busy eating. You know me. Quiet as a mouse, quick as a fish. Wait here." Firepaw sat down again, unable to hide his relief. He watched his friend trot away from the tree stump to the pile of fresh kill. As if he were carrying out orders, Greypaw confidently picked out 2 of the juiciest looking mice. Quickly, he began to pad across the clearing towards Yellowfang. "Stop, Greypaw!" A loud growl rumbled from the entrance to the warrior's den. Tiger Claw strode out, marched over to Grey Paw. "Where are you taking those mice?" he demanded, with a sinking feeling in his stomach. Firepaw watched. Helpless from the tree stump beside him, Ravenpaw froze mid-chew and crouched over his meal with his eyes wider than ever. Greypaw dropped the mice and shuffled his paws uncomfortably. "Not helping young Firepaw by feeding that greedy traitor over there, are you?" Firepaw watched Greypaw study his paws for a moment. Finally, he replied, I was feeling hungry. I was going to take them off and eat them by myself. If I had let that pair get a look in," he glanced over at Firepaw and Ravenpaw, "they'll leave me with nothing but bones and fur." "Oh, really?" meowed Tiger Claw. "Well, if you're so hungry, you might as well eat them here and now." But Greypaw began, looking up at the senior warrior in alarm. "Now!" growled Tiger Claw. Greypaw bent his head quickly and began to eat the mice. He demolished the first one in a couple of bites and swallowed it quickly. The second mouse took longer for him to eat. Firepaw thought he'd never manage to swallow it, and his own stomach clenched in sympathy. But eventually, Ravenpaw gave a final, difficult gulp, and the last bit of mouse disappeared. "Better now?" asked Tiger Claw, his voice smooth with a mock sympathy. "Much," replied Greypaw, stifling a burp. "Good." Tiger Claw stalked off again back to his den. Greypaw slunk uncomfortably back to Firepaw and Ravenpaw. "Thanks, Greypaw," Firepaw meowed gratefully, nudging his friend's soft fur. "That was quick thinking." The noise of Yellowfang's yowl rose in the air once more. Firepaw sighed and got to his paws. He would make sure he took her enough to see her through the night. He wanted to turn in early. His stomach was full, and his paws were tired. "Are you okay, Greypaw?" he asked as he turned to leave. "Whoa," moaned Greypaw. He was hunched in a low crouch, squinting with pain. "I've eaten too much." "Go and see Spotted Leaf," Firepaw suggested. "I'm sure she'll find something to help." "I hope so," meowed Greypaw, tottering slowly away. Firepaw wanted to watch him go until another angry yowl from Yellowfang sent him sprinting across the clearing. Chapter 10. By the following morning, a thin drizzle soaked the treetops and dripped down into the camp. Firepaw woke up feeling damp. It had been an uncomfortable night. He stood up and shook himself vigorously, fluffing out his fur. Then he left the apprentice's den and trotted across the clearing to Yellowfang's nest. Yellowfang was just stirring. She lifted her head and squinted at Firepaw as he approached. "My bones ache this morning. Has it been raining all night?" "So it's just moon high," Firepaw replied. He reached out and prodded her mossy nest cautiously. "Your bedding is soaking wet. Why don't you move nearer to the nursery? It's more sheltered there." "What? And be kept awake by all those mewing cats? I'd rather get wet," Yellowfang growled. Firepaw watched her circle stiffly on the moss bed. "Then at least let me fetch you some dry bedding," he offered, keen to drop the subject of kits if it upset the old she-cat this much. "Thank you, Firepaw," replied Yellowfang quietly, settling down again. Firepaw was stunned. He wondered if she was feeling all right. This was the first time she had thanked him for anything. And this is the first time she has not called him a kitty pet. "Well, don't just stand there like a startled squirrel. Go and fetch some moss," she snapped. Firepaw's whiskers twitched with amusement. This was more like Yellowfang he was used to. He nodded and sprinted off. He almost crashed into Speckletail in the middle of the clearing. This was the queen who had watched Yellowfang's angry outburst at the tabby kit the day before. "Sorry, Speckletail," Firepaw mewed. "Are you on your way to see Yellowfang?" "What would I want with that unnatural creature?" replied Speckletail crossly. Actually, it's you I was looking for. Blue Star wants to see you. Firepaw hurried towards the high rock in Blue Star's den. Blue Star was sitting outside, her head bobbing rhythmically as she licked the gray fur below her throat. She paused when she noticed Firepaw. How was Yellowfang today? She mewed. Her belly is wet, so I was going to fetch her some more, Firepaw replied. I'll ask one of the queens to see to that. Blue Star gave her chest another lick and then eyed Firepaw carefully. Is she fit enough to hunt for herself yet? She asked. I don't think so, Firepaw mewed, but she can walk well enough now. I see, meowed Blue Star. She looked thoughtful for a moment. It is time for you to return to your training, Firepaw, but you need to work hard to make up for time you have lost. Great! Thank you, Blue Star, Firepaw stammered. You will go out with Tiger Claw, Gray Paw, and Raven Paw this morning, Blue Star continued. I've asked Tiger Claw to assess the warrior skills of all our apprentices. Don't worry about Yellowfang. I'll make sure someone sees to her while you are gone. Firepaw nodded. Now, join your companions, Blue Star ordered. I expect they're waiting for you. Thank you, Blue Star, Firepaw mewed. He turned with a flick of his tail and darted off towards his den. I'll end it there. So, even though Yellowfang is healing up, she's still pretty mean, huh? And Tiger Claw certainly seems to be keeping a close eye on them. Okay, well, I am glad if you have stuck around this long. I greatly do appreciate it. To continue with the theme of this week, with my sign, there's other things that in the United States that could potentially be affected with Roe and Wade being overturned. First off, we're already seeing a trend of, in some of the states, miscarriage. Women who have had miscarriages are being jailed already in some parts of the country. They're being jailed on the accusation that they caused the miscarriage themselves, i.e., gave themselves an abortion. The thing is, though, medically speaking, you cannot tell the difference between a natural miscarriage and abortion that's done. Now, obviously, if there's a major trauma that's happened, okay, that's different. But spontaneous miscarriages happen all the time. Most of the time they happen and the woman doesn't realize, didn't even know she was pregnant. When she's miscarried it, didn't even know. The thing about it is that criminalizing miscarriage, well, these women are being put to jail. They're being accused of homicide or murder or manslaughter. That's a felony. Now you can't leave the country. Now you can't vote. You see where this is going now? Children, apparently, our kids are too young to learn about critical race theory, but they are old enough to carry a pregnancy to full term. That definitely makes sense. Pregnancy is very glamorized, but it shouldn't be. I almost lost my sister. She went 2 weeks past her date. She was a smaller woman than I am. That baby was 10 pounds. And could not be done natural way. She pushed 5 hours, bled out, had to be having an emergency C-section. She almost died. My own pregnancy with my son was very hard. I had to have a 24-hour Zofran pump connected to my stomach, injected, and I had to have a PICC line. I had a hospital pool in my apartment during my pregnancy. Pregnancy is dangerous, way more dangerous than people realize. And it's just unethical to force young children to go through it, first off. But this will also affect privacy laws. This affects some states criminalized homosexuality, for example, same-sex relations that fell under Privacy Act. So you could have whatever type of intimate relation with your partner you want, and it not be considered a crime. Go ahead, you could get your freak on, and government couldn't say no. You think that's gonna last? And I'm already running out of time in this video, and I've got more videos throughout this week, so I'll just leave it at this. I do hope you're having a good day, though.